Good morning. Hey, how's everybody doing out there in Facebook land? Good morning. I like this shot, which shows my organized shelves there and my nice light fixture there. So it's a week before Valentine's Day. I have my Valentine shirt and my Valentine headgear, so we're getting ready. And you're like, oh, it's still a week away. Plenty of time. But I don't know what it's like at your house, but at my house it's snowing like the dickens. And nothing slows up the postal system like weather. So if you need something for Valentine's, hey Jenna, my cousin is on. How are you? I am talking today about which are the most romantic operas, depending on how you define that. And we'll do that through looking at some inspired by bracelets, might as well. And, okay, so if you need it for Valentine's Day, you know, you might want to order today or tomorrow. Our sale is on. Cupid20 is the discount code for 20% off, which is a nice chunk. Like if you're ordering an inspired by bracelet, which is normally $48, it comes 38 something with the code. So that's like $10 off. So that's good. And again, the sooner you order, the more likely it'll be there for Valentine's Day. I'll get them out quickly, but you know, once the post office has it and the weather system is swirling around our country, depending on where it's going, you don't want to like leave it to the last minute, not for Valentine's Day, you know. So, okay. Weather happens. That was my I've got notes. Weather happens. 1 week to Valentine's, Cupid20 for 20% off. And this is our last sale for a while, till like late spring. So if you have, you know, opera birthdays, operas you're attending, if you have something coming up, this will be our last sale for a while. You'll be getting the best prices now. And again, you're going to want that, if it's for Valentine's Day, you're going to want that to ship by Monday at the latest. I would not really wait. Okay, so like, what's romantic operas? What are the most romantic? And that kind of depends on like, what does romance even mean? So like in college, I take this class, romantic literature. Woohoo, right? Romantic literature. Okay, well, romantic literature is not romance novels, and it's just not. It was not fun. It was not a fun surprise when I was in college. So honestly, my understanding was that romantic era art and literature was almost a precursor to sort of like the horror genre. It has a lot to do with ghosts and spirits and lovers that die. So that fits right in with opera. Okay, so I'm going to just buzz through some inspired by bracelets here and on different types of romance, right? And luckily, you know, even though it's snowing and slowing up the postal system, it's providing a lot of light. So we'll be happy about that. Okay. This is the Manon bracelet. And okay, Manon, she dies. So, spoilers. So there is a charm for Manon, the pretty picture of a woman there. And the fleur-de-lis represents De Grier as an aristocrat, and the swirling heart is the love that they can't do without. And I don't know if it's romance, but it's passion. A passion that they cannot resist, even though they are obviously terrible for each other. It's pretty destructive love. Okay, that's Manon. Ah, well, this is nice for Valentine's Day. The Elixir of Love. This is the Una furtiva lagrima bracelet. So he buys a love potion, which we all know is just wine, but somehow it magically brings everything together. So we have grapes to represent the wine and a heart with like a key engraved in it. I don't know if you can see all that detail there. So he wins her. He has the key to her heart. Somehow he wins her. And the tear crystal is the tear that they're talking about in the title, Una furtiva lagrima, a secret tear, because he sees her crying and he realizes she really does care for him. So that's from the Elixir of Love. Okay, now, Lucia Di Lammermoor truly is from Romantic literature. It has ghosts, and it's that spooky sort of gothic atmosphere, and it is from that era. So, and Scotland. I mean, you gotta love Scotland and romance and all that. So this is the Lucia's Love bracelet, and I picked colors that are sort of look like the Scottish Highlands, a sort of misty purple, heather, and deep green. Well, it's more of a teal to represent the hills. So Lucia Di Lammermoor got a Celtic knot to symbolize the eternity of their love, a heart, of course, for love, and a dagger, which brings them together as they are united after death. Always a big romantic element. So Lucia Di Lammermoor really is a romantic tale that goes very wrong. I mean, it's sort of Romeo and Juliet situation where they could have brought their families together through their love, but her brother wasn't having any of that, and it all goes terribly wrong in madness and despair. That's opera. So most romantic opera. Any votes for Lucia Di Lammermoor? Okay. Now we'll throw in some romantic opera moments and get that situated. Okay. This is Michaela bracelet inspired by Carmen. Now, I would not necessarily call Carmen ye most romantic of operas. It certainly is a lesson kind of an opera. But this moment that Michaela comes to share with Don Jose, where she's bringing him letters from home and a little money from mama and a kiss. I mean, it is a sweet moment. So in the Michaela bracelet, that we've got a heart to represent her, girl next door love for him. A little envelope with a heart coming out of it because she's bringing these messages from home. She's the messenger. And a little hand with a heart on it to show how she's trying to guide him back to a good life. And she comes to the mountains to bring him home. But Don Jose never makes good decisions. That's one thing we know about him. So a romantic moment in what is otherwise a pretty intense opera. Okay, one of the top romantic operas has got to be La Traviata. And the subject of just love and romantic love, not so much the romantic era. There's not a lot of spookiness in La Traviata. It is just a story of love and loss. So the Violetta bracelet represents Violetta herself. And I think the reason it is so popular is because of this idea of love and romance. Okay, so if you've never seen the Violetta bracelet before, the flower is the flower she gives him on their meeting, tells him to come back when the flower has faded. And then there is a little cameo, represents the portrait she gives him when she dies, to remember her by. The big heart here says love. We're looking at the front of it. The front of it just has tiny purple crystals. So I always go purple with Violetta because Violet, her name. So on the back of this, it says love in 3 languages. That's not 3 languages. And the languages are French, the setting of the opera, and Italian, the language of the opera, and English. So I've bought up all those charms in existence, and when they're gone, they're gone. There's still quite a few, but this is a limited, by its nature, it's a limited edition because that heart isn't going to last forever. I'll have a little sip of tea here. So when I created my office here, I wanted a really cool light fixture, which you see above me. The only problem with it is it's impossible to dust because once I get up there dusting, a crystal will inevitably break off. So I always have to make a decision between cleanliness and crystals. All right, you probably heard the doorbell ring, and you know how it is with Amazon. They're coming all day with things. So the next thing that'll happen is the oven will buzz because I have something, baking something. All right, so back to romantic opera. Okay. Madama Butterfly has got to be up there with the love romance operas. It is a sad version of romance. I mean, she puts all her love in this man, all her hope, and he's just not one of those men you should put your hope in. And, you know, as much as this is about a certain thing that happened in Japan and an American sailor who behaves very badly, I think we all relate in a way to Madama Butterfly, because we all have something that we put our hope in that's let us down. And, you know, hopefully we just didn't decide to slit our throats over it, but it was a different culture. So this is particularly about the Un Bel Di aria, the Un Bel Di Bracelet. And so in the song, she talks about how Suzuki, her maid, doesn't know what she's talking about, you know, because Suzuki's trying to say, you know, we're running out of money. You need to remarry someone who can, you know, support us, or at least you. And she's like, no way, I know he's coming. So she sees the ship come into the harbor, and then she sees him disembark, and he walks to her house, and he starts as a tiny dot in the distance, and he's coming closer and closer, becoming a larger and larger form. And it happens like that, but not a loving ending. So it is about hope, this song, and waiting for something that's coming. Okay, so we have the boat, Pinkerton's ship. We have the heart, and if you can see the detail on the heart, little dots on the side to represent that part where he's far away and coming towards her. And then the geisha charm to represent butterfly. And there's a lot of little butterfly crystals on this bracelet. So, and the colors represent springtime and the ocean, because they're at Nagasaki Harbor, and lots of flowers in the garden that she brings into the house to make it all beautiful for his arrival. So Madama Butterfly got to be up there, because one of the greatest love duets of all of them, really. I mean, if you just stop the opera, Act 1, I mean, that'd probably be good. So, all right. Tosca, a story of a great romance. I mean, and very advanced for their day. I mean, they're living a very sort of modern, we're not married, but we love each other, and that's it kind of existence. And this is the Elixir de Stelle bracelet. I'll get it set up here for you. So, you may or may not know the story. Spoiler alert. They're in love, but Tosca gets manipulated by a bad policeman who's trying to entrap her lover Mario for being sort of a revolutionary. And Tosca feels she has saved Mario's life by killing the bad policeman. But Scarpia, the bad policeman, has, arranged everything ahead, and Mario doesn't have long to live. So the Elixir de Stelle is the big aria he sings before his death, and he talks about his love for Tosca and how he's going to die right as he's realizing what it really means to live and to love. So the teardrop bead there is what they call a lampwork bead. There's a little flower floating inside it that represents Floria, Tosca. And because this song is really a song of sadness and grief. And then there is a heart to represent his love for her. And the star, you can see the detail on the star. The song begins, Lucia van der Stelle, the stars were shining, and he talks about a night that she came, you know, to spend with him. So that is possibly one of the most romantic songs of opera, even if we don't want to classify Tosca, which is a bit violent, as a romantic opera. Okay, now possibly the number one romantic opera has to be La Boheme. I think that is why La Boheme is known as the world's favorite opera. This is the Mimi and Moonlight bracelet. Symbolizes the beautiful Act 1 love duet. I don't think anyone's going to really contest the position of La Boheme as most romantic opera, and the that scene as one of the most romantic scenes. So, and you know, it's a very human scene where, you know, whether Mimi's manipulating things and kind of faking that she lost her key or her candle blew out, we don't know, but that's how they get together. You know, her candle goes out, she's walking up the stairs in the dark, so she knocks on his door and she's like, hey, do you have a candle I can light my candle from? And then she drops her key, and then they're looking for the key in the dark because the candles are all out now, and they're on the floor grappling around for the key. And Rodolfo finds the key, but he doesn't let on that he found the key because he likes her and he wants to get to know her more. And they talk about, this is basically like a first date. They're like meeting, finding out about each other. And you know how it ends. Amore, amore. So, wait, did I go through what's on the bracelet? Probably not. Okay, so you see the key and a candle, because it's Christmas Eve, so this is a little candle that has some holly on the bottom of it, and the winged heart, because, spoilers, she doesn't make it. And at the end of the opera, Musette says, Mimi is an angel, so the angel winged heart represents that. So I'd say that's number one, but I've got a couple other bracelets out here for you. Okay, now this is, again, more about passion than romance. Mon Coeur is a popular mezzo aria, and it is about seduction. And many singers who sing this song have said to me, oh, I think she really loves him. I'm not buying it. So this is about passionate seduction, this song. So the bracelet has some black beads to symbolize, you know, that this is leading nowhere good. And but the purple and fuchsia beads represent that passion. She sings about how her heart is opening to his voice like a flower. So we have an unfurling flower here. And then a cage heart. Get it in there. Okay, good. To show that this is a trap. And the dagger, she's going to cut his hair, and then it's all over Samson. Samson, Delilah, Mon Coeur. Just a sweet moment before it all goes to heck. All right, what else? Okay. Now back to speaking about romantic literature and spookiness. Spookiness seems to be a part of this genre of romance. So, this is the Song to the Moon bracelet, inspired by Rusalka. So, she's singing this beautiful love song to the moon, because the moon shines down both on her and her prince, who doesn't even know that she exists and that she loves him. So, she asks the moon to tell him of her love and to keep him safe. So, this is all beads symbolizing moonlight, very opalescent beads. Little moon charm, and there's Rusalka, the water sprite, and a wavy, watery heart. So that is a sweet moment, but as we know, he is not true to her exactly, and she becomes a will-o'-the-wisp, who is a demon of death. And trivia, in case you ever need this for pub quiz, the will-o'-the-wisp is the same creature that Giselle becomes in the ballet Giselle. So they are the willies. So you see the connection, that willies and the will-o'-the-wisp, they're the same thing. So these are girls that are dying from unrequited love, and then their job is to lure men to their death. Great. So it does have a lot of those romantic, spooky elements. And, love, death. It's really up there in the romance, if you want to qualify it as an old-time romance. All right, I had one more. I mean, we don't usually associate a lot of romance with Wagner, but my favorite opera scene is when Siegfried wakes up Brunhilde. And at first, she's not into this, but seeing as she's kind of set the whole thing up, I don't know what her problem is. So this is the Brunhilde's Awakening bracelet. And we have hearts for love. We have a star for illumination. And the sun, because he kisses her. Sort of a Sleeping Beauty situation. He kisses her, and she wakes up for the first time in 17 years. Because we assume he's about 17. And Heil der Sun. She opens her eyes. It's daylight. And after a bit of back and forth, she decides she loves him. And just one of the most passionate endings of opera. They agree to love each other, and with a love that illumines, laughing at death. So just one of the most beautiful romantic scenes in opera. So I like to think that the ring just ends there. But it won't be long before they're in big trouble again. And then, heck, the world ends. So there you go. All right, my timer's going off, so my tea cake's coming out of the oven. Romantic opera. Order today for Valentine's Day, and give the post office plenty of time. Hey, Google, stop. And Cupid 20. You'll see it on the website. Don't forget to enter it. I've had some people who have not, I don't know how much more prominent I can put it on the website. Cupid 20, 20% off. So any of the inspired buys, instead of being 48, once you put in the code, it'll be like 38. So this is the last sale for a while. So do it to it. All right, thanks for joining me for a little impromptu discussion of romantic opera. And I'm sure I missed, probably obvious ones. So tell me your most favorite romantic opera or opera moment. All right, have a great rest of your Friday.